Hi everyone. So in this video I'll share some reasons why you might want to consider using Sky Safari with an Astro-Physics mount. I'll also do a quick walkthrough on how to get it set up on an iOS device. So most mounts I've used require only the time and location to be specified for them to operate normally. But in addition to knowing where you are physically and in time, basically your lat long and your time and time zone, the mount computer should also know where the scope is pointing relative to the gear's positions. So the mounts I've used so far require you to start the session by having the OTA pointing a certain way, or they have hardware switches or homing sensors to figure out the orientation sort of automatically. An example of the homing sensor is on the rainbow mounts. With those mounts with the homing sensor, irrespective of how you start the session, you just press home and then it figures out precisely how the scope is pointed, and this comes in handy if you're setting up in a remote observatory. Note that this alignment thing is different from a star sync that I'll also talk about separately. So coming back to Astrophysics mounts, what I've learned about AP mounts is that in addition to requiring time and location, given they don't have homing sensors, at least the mount that I have, you basically specify how you're starting up the mount, and a standard typical AP mount comes pre-configured with like 5, I think, or 4, I'm not sure, some number of predefined park positions. In addition to that, you can arbitrarily point the scope at a spot and then use that as your orientation for the next time. So in this case, I'll link to the Astrophysics documentation that enumerates the various park positions. But a park position is basically how you're going to park the mount, and that reference point acts like a sort of a homing sensor, and it tells the mount gears how it's oriented. So the reason I'm talking about all of this is not all software allow you to specify the park and unpark commands to the Astrophysics. So in this case, I'm using the 1100 with CP4. So like I said, in addition to lat long and time zone, you also need to specify the park and unpark positions. And computers like ASA Air, they don't allow you to specify that. One night when I was trying to use the ASA Air, I did a home and it sent the scope entirely upside down. And after that exercise, so what I've been doing is I've been I'm trying to look at a predictable way to initialize the mount. And I was doing that, I came across the Sky Safari option. And I've been testing it for some time now, and it's been reliable so far. So we'll see how long that holds. But so far, it's been a good experience. So I'll be walking through how to do that today. And this will be useful for folks that are using visual and also for imaging, especially if you're doing something that is not on ASCOM, that doesn't have APCC. So let's do this. I think with the Sky Safari, I'll be going over how to control it over a Wi-Fi interface. So in this case, I'll connect the Wi-Fi from my phone over to the Wi-Fi on the CP4. So the CP4 has inbuilt Wi-Fi. So it has Wi-Fi antenna and stuff like that, but I don't use the range extender and stuff. I just usually stand nearby when I'm initializing the mount. So when you power up the mount, the CP4, after about a minute, the Wi-Fi will be available to use. And the way you can say whether it's ready to use or not is you'll see a red blinking light during initialization. So basically, when you power up the mount, right away the red LED on the CP4 will start blinking, and after about a minute the blinking LED will become a solid red LED, and at that point your Wi-Fi is basically ready to go. Then I switch over to my iPhone device and connect to the Wi-Fi hotspot. The Wi-Fi hotspot on this CP4 comes pre-installed as an access point. So it broadcasts in SSID that has the reference to your serial number in it, so that from your phone you can connect to that hotspot. And the password for connecting to it should be in your manual, but it's basically that serial number followed by, I believe, admin 12345. But yeah, it's in the manual. You can look up the exact string. So once you establish that connection, I'll go over the exact IP address you'll use in the Sky Safari. So now let's switch on to that.